need you to do this, please.
Are you crazy?
I'm sorry.
Y'all are stupid.
David, please.
Get off me. Y'all ain't nothing without me. I made your asses. You can't fire me. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Y'all can't do me like this. You ungrateful son of a bitches.
Reach for the sky, boy.
What is going on, you Marktards? What a day. What a day. I mean, was there any wrestling shows on tonight?
Oh yeah, there was a hell of a wrestling show that just happened.
Are you sure? I mean, I know there was supposed to be 2 shows tonight, and there's supposed to be 1 tomorrow. I can't really concentrate on that right now because of all the controversy, all the news that's been breaking, backstage fights.
What controversy? What are you talking about? You talking about the sabotage? You talking about the betrayal? You talking about the plan? A year in the
setup,
making,
bro. For real, the setup, yo. But yo, before we get into all of that shit, my hustlers out there, what is going on? It's your boy A-Track Brown, and of course with me, my co-host brethren, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who is the most magnanimous, the most objective, the most scholarly, the most effervescent, the most stupendous, and he is the king of the motherfucking hoopla, as well as being the most glorious man in the IWC, YWC, can't call it TWC, XWC, Facebook WC community, all of that shit wrapped in one. Chabela de la Cruz, my dude, what is going on, bro?
What's going on, A-Track? What's going on to the hustlites, you know?
I have wine, I have my blunt. Talk to us, Q. What's a good word?
Well, I'll just say this because, you know, since we're going to really like hone in on the sabotage, the setup, the brawl out and all that stuff, I just want to say this, you know, WWE Payback, for all the hustlites who didn't want to give it a shine, you should, because according to Dave Meltzer's retarded ratings, 3 matches had 5.25 ratings. That was the cage match, that was the tag team street fight, and that was the G1 Climax main event between Nakamura and Rollins. So I just wanted to put that out there right now, because if you all go by the Dave Meltzer ratings, you got 5.25. And Dave Meltzer better do that, because then I'm going to go after Dave Meltzer's ass. He's going to have to block me on Twitter, because I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out on his bias. He's been biased for the whole year. Him, Alvarez, Sean Ross Sapp, all the dirt sheets. Y'all been biased on every metric. If you ain't going to give him If you ain't gonna give Payback 3 matches, 5.25 stars, then there's something wrong. There's bias going on track. There's bias. Sorry,
I
man.
don't know. Listen, I saw that cage match and I was not impressed. I thought the tag team match was fucking awesome. I dug the main event. The main event definitely delivered. I mean, I like the outcome. Listen, the only reason why I didn't like the outcome, not because I didn't think it was, that I didn't think Seth Rollins somehow was going to lose, but for the first time since the WWE Hall of Fame, but for the first time ever, you had the greatest wrestler of all time, the great Muta, sitting at ringside to watch Nakamura in the main event.
Wait, I thought you meant the greatest of all time, John Cena, being back as the host of Payback and doing like multiple duties like referee and interviewer and all that stuff. That's the GOAT right there.
Yeah. Look, no. There was only one GOAT in that building tonight, and his name was Muta-san. Okay, Kenji Muto, to be more precise. That was the
Chosen's
true
favorite
GOAT.
wrestler is John Cena. You know that. He has since Cobra Kai. Chosen said Cena's the GOAT.
No. Do we have to call Mr. Sato up for him to confirm who Chosen's favorite wrestler is? Okay, I mean, listen, it's very clear that Muta was there to watch Seth Rollins dance like geisha. That's what that was all about. But yo,
I wish that Muta might have they should have done a spot near Muta and Muta did the maybe missed and then hit Nakamura by accident or something like that. To give some flair.
When I saw Muta out there, I thought Nakamura was going to win the title. I really did. I said, holy shit, he's going to win, which really would have fucked things up for me because early in the day, right, there was somebody who made a post in one of the groups that I'm in. I'm in so many groups now, I don't even fucking remember. But somebody made
like 8 profiles. Of course, you're going to be in more groups.
People keep inviting me to these groups, and I keep saying yes. And next thing you know, I just get all these notifications. So they put a picture up of Muta and Nakamura after their match in Noah, saying, "Imagine if Muta shows up and helps Nakamura win the title." Now, when that was posted, I didn't know what was going on, so I just, out of a joke, I said, "If that shit was to happen, I will get WWE for life tattooed on my ass." I was not playing. Then 15, 20 minutes later,
you was this close.
Then 15, 20 minutes later, I see the report that Moon is in Pittsburgh. And I said, oh shit. So now I'm scrambling trying to find the group that I wrote that in to take that down. Because I said, yo, this nigga's gonna win. And whoever sees it, it wasn't the Solid group, but whoever saw that shit is gonna be like, yo, this nigga said he was gonna do it, so now you have to do it.
Mm-hmm. You lucky I'm not in that group, because if I saw it, I would have screenshot that ass. And I would have texted you, you gonna do this?
I still couldn't find it, and my heart was pounding when the match was going. When they were going home, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do this. But you know what? It's gonna be fucking worth it. I don't give a fuck. I'll do this shit. It'll be a henna tattoo. I didn't say what kind of tattoo it was gonna be.
Oh.
But yeah, so you had WWE Payback tonight, and I don't know about you, Q, but I was too busy watching 2 different shows, and
I wasn't busy. I mean, with all the drama. See, this is the thing. It's funny because, like I said on our group text, and I'm serious about this track. And for the hustleites that might how they comment on the YouTube, track is right, track is saying all this stuff. But you know what? I got the receipts, and I said this, and people could try to spin it as much as they want. I'm gonna quote myself because I'm not gonna shy away from it. But you remember what I put on the text, because actually I put on the Hustle page too. 2013, the Dirt Sheets convinced the Marktards that WWE was evil and CM Punk was a martyr. Fast forward 10 years later to 2023, or as PW like to say, 2023. The dirt sheets have convinced you that CM Punk is a cancer, and AEW had no alternative but to do what they had to do. How the hypocrisy lives in the world of the wrestling community.
Listen,
It's funny. It's funny.
Let me explain something to you, bro.
Go
So
ahead.
let's address the elephant in the room. That is the firing of Phil CM Punk Brooks. Now, just in case some of you are not aware, here's a little backstory, okay? Now, back when Nitro was on, they were in the United Center. I was told this by this man personally, okay? Back when Monday Night Nitro was on and they were in the United Center. It's not on camera from what I understand, but Hulk Hogan went out in the ring and cut a promo when he was, NWO. And he said, and he's like, brother, look at all these Chicago-made punks out here. And a young Phil Brooks was in the crowd. And that's how CM Punk got his name, through Hulk Hogan. Once Hulk Hogan said, look at all these Chicago-made punks, CM Punk was born. These were words that Hogan told me, and we all know Hogan tells the truth. So that being said,
you know what? Punk, I remember that. That was when Hogan and Rodman came down to the ring to cut their promo before Bash at the Beach. Yep, you're right. I actually remember that. Mm-hmm.
And so here we are, 2023. CM Punk, 2 years. Inside, how long was he been in AEW? 2 years or 2 years?
Since August of 2021.
Okay, August of 2021. So here we are, where this man gets into another fight. Now, early on reports stated that it was Jack Perry who initiated the physical confrontation. I don't even know if that's true or not true.
There's a lot of differentiating statements on that. There's a lot of he said, she said. But the end of the day is Tony Khan had the video feed footage, the security camera footage at Wembley Stadium. They used that. And from what I'm told, that footage is concrete proof that Punk initiated the physical part of it. You can't hear the verbal stuff on video because, of course, it's like a security camera shit. You can't hear nothing. All you will see is the physical stuff. Punk initiated it, choked him out.
So eventually we'll see that video at some point. I don't know when.
You can't.
You can't. How you can't?
Because the only way you're gonna see it is if someone leaks it to like TMZ. That
shouldn't be leaked eventually. Somebody will. We'll see
sealed,
that video.
That's sealed for outside counsel. You cannot show that video footage. That's protected, like non-disclosure agreements and shit like that. You can't do that. The only way we'll get, and then if it gets leaked, that person gets fired from AEW.
Well, look, I'm pretty sure the same person who will leak that video is the same person who's leaking information to Lufisto, which I also found strange, because Lufisto had all his inside information, and all of a sudden this contact was silent during this whole shit. This person who knew everything that was going on with the women, all of a sudden had nothing to say with CM Punk. But that's a whole nother story. The fact of the matter is this, okay? Tonight, Tony Khan said that, he made the public announcement. The news came out earlier. CM Punk is fired from AEW because CM Punk is a dude who can't fucking control himself. I don't know what happened to this man between his time in WWE and UFC, but all of a sudden Phil Brooks is a tough guy, going around beating the shit out the Bucks, going around choking out Jack Perry. I mean, I wouldn't have fired CM Punk. I just would have brought in Teddy Hart. That's all I would have did. I would have brought in Teddy Hart. And I've been like, yo, Teddy, the minute this motherfucker gets out of control, you knock his ass the fuck out. So one of the rumors that was going on.
What's that UFC guy's name? Mikey something? You remember that, the dude that choked him out.
Mickey Gall.
Oh, Mickey Gall. Just bring him in as outside counsel. It would have been easy. 1, 2, 3. He would have handled it.
Some good shit. Hold on.
Damn, that's some good weed.
Ooh, some sherbet, bro. It's the Kush sherbet.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
So what happened is Tony Khan felt that, he had to fire Punk after, the investigation, looking at the cameras or whatever. If what they said was true, that CM Punk, in fact, got in Tony Khan's face and demanded that he see him in his locker room or whatever. Yeah, nigga, you got to go. Like, who the fuck? Nigga, what? No, nigga, you work for me. I would have been like, yo, where's Big Bill? Come here, bro. Stand right here. What the fuck you want, man? What do you want? Got something to say?
It's kind of funny that, I guess we're all laughing at this from the circumstances, but it's weird because, HR and the wrestling business it's not a great mix track. I mean, back in the days of Wrestlers Court, locker room leaders, Undertaker, Andre the Giant, this would have been handled very, very quickly, very discreetly, and business would have just went along. You know what I mean? They would have had their matches, they would have got paid and all this stuff, but it would have been handled. We don't have that anymore because of, fucking HR. Remember a couple of years ago with Alberto Del Rio choking out somebody in WWE, and then he got fired and went to Impact Wrestling? Same shit.
I believe it was Sin Cara, but I don't think it went down exactly like that because Sin Cara was fighting everybody. Sin Cara fought Del Rio like 3 times. Then he fought Sheamus, and I think he beat Sheamus's ass, if I'm not mistaken. Then he had a fight with Simon Gotch. And all of this shit happened within a year. So
you're talking about I'm talking about Del Rio. I think he was choking out some kind of PR guy from the behind the scenes.
Oh,
but
yeah,
he got
I know
fired
something like
quick.
that did happen. Yeah.
But he got fired quick. But tell the Sin Cara story. But but you understand where I'm going with.
My thing is, here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to say ultimately. Like, I don't try to use a whataboutism. I've been telling people about, shit that would happen in the past, and they were trying to think that I was trying to say, well, what about WWE? That's not what I was trying to say to people online, on Twitter or on Facebook. What I was trying to get people to understand was I was trying to tell fans to relax. It's not that it ain't that serious to me, because this is nothing compared to the shit that we grew up around and the shit that was going on back in those locker rooms back in the day. But again, you talk about the shit that happened in WWE a few years ago. No one was thinking that Vince McMahon couldn't control his locker room because of these incidents that was happening for a company that's been around for God knows how long, versus a company that's only been around for 4.5 years. And I would expect this stuff to happen with a young company. I wouldn't expect them to have locker room leaders not yet. They only been around for 4.5 years. That shit takes time. You gotta take, reputations have to build. It's easy to look at Jericho and say, oh, he's the locker room leader because he's like the oldest talent.
Well, they do have locker room leaders, but are they really leading these young cats? Because you got Moxley, you got Danielson, you got Jericho. It depends on how they're trying to lead. Because again, the 2 greatest locker room leaders in the history of wrestling is Andre the Giant and The Undertaker. They were stoic. They had presence. They intimidated you. And again, there's a difference. I'm not saying that I'm not afraid of Moxley.
Even Chris Benoit at one point was a locker room leader. Who was it that he had doing 1,000 squats? I forgot who that was. Somebody. Oh, Paul London. Was it Paul London?
Probably.
I think, he had somebody doing he made somebody do 1,000 squats because they was disrespecting somebody. I forgot who it was, but I remember him making him do 1,000 squats in front of him. I was like, holy shit. That should have been the first time that nigga was crazy. But yeah.
Again, but you get my point. You don't have that very stoic, intimidating presence backstage right now. Either side, either WWE or AEW side. I mean, again, and on WWE side, maybe Roman Reigns is the locker room leader, but he's there part-time, so it's not the same thing. So I don't know who's their locker room leader right now, unless it's Drew McIntyre or something like that. But it's very hard to say today's locker room leaders in comparison to yesteryears because they were there constantly. They they put the hammer down because that's who, like Vince McMahon entrusted Andre the Giant. Vince McMahon entrusted Undertaker to get the job done before it got to his level, before he fired people. You know what I mean? So in AEW, Tony Khan is the ultimate mark. He's the ultimate fan. He's trying to, cater to the egos of these guys. He tried to give Punk everything he needed. He gave him a show. Well, I don't know if he gave him a show, but he gave him a
No, he
Collision.
gave him a show. He gave him his own show. Collision was his baby, pretty much. I mean, if he was the one who could decide if Jack Perry could. And let's just talk about that for a minute. First of all, finish what you're saying, because we'll get into that in a minute. So finish what you're going to say.
He gave him every kind of, he gave him all the inches, you could say. He gave him the show, he gave him the title, he gave him, the responsibilities of Collision, like you said. Okay, so be it. And he tried to make it a nice working environment for Punk, that he didn't have to work with people he didn't feel comfortable with. But even Punk,
he went out of his way to cater to him. You're absolutely right.
But even Punk knew that doesn't work business-wise, because he knew that there's money on the table with him and the Elite, CMFTR against the Elite and all that stuff. He knew that. He knew that there was millions of dollars to be made on pay-per-view buy rates. He was trying to squash. He was trying to, do it for the business. Yo, let's come to a common ground. Let's work this out. We don't have to be best friends, but we can get in that ring. We can make the money. This is what Vince McMahon's talking about. This is what, Jim Cornette's talking about. This is what Bischoff's talking about. This is what Jim Ross is talking about. This is what Bill Watts is talking about. No one has to be your best friends. You're not BFFs in wrestling, but you want to make the money. And these guys did not want to make the money. So they fucked that up. So go ahead, Track. That's all I got to say.
Nah, you're right about that, because I've been saying that like a lot of other people. A lot of people from our era have been saying that, fuck that, come together, make this money. There's money to get out there. There was so much money to be made in the Kenny Omega CM Punk feud, man. It's like, it's written right there. And this to me, it goes, this is where Undertaker was kind of right about the brotherhood in the locker room and the pussification of certain wrestlers today and the attitudes of young wrestlers today. So I don't want to work with him because, we got into a fight and we can't work things out because this guy hit me and this, that, and the third. You could have made so much money with an Omega feud, Omega Punk feud. But to what you said with him giving Punk, the keys to the kingdom, or the keys to his own castle in Collision, pretty much, where there's a spot where Perry wanted to use real glass. Punk said no to that, as he should. If anybody remembers the spot with Eddie Edwards and Sammy Callahan when they used the real bat, you saw what happened there. Why would you want to use real glass?
But I think a lot of people got to remember this, Track. Punk was asked to talk to Perry. It wasn't Punk saying that. Punk didn't care. I think certain people behind the scenes, like Tony Schiavone, maybe Christopher Daniels, was trying to tell, and this is my alleged conspiratorial theory here.
We'll get your conspiratorial theory in a minute, but go ahead.
Other people were trying to reason with Jack Perry. Then it came to Punk for some reason. And Punk's got nothing to do with that. Jack Perry wasn't on Collision that much. Maybe once or twice, but that doesn't give Punk the right to say, "Oh, you shouldn't use glass." Was it going to be for Dynamite or was it going to be for Collision? It was safe for All In, and guess who approves All In stuff? Tony Khan. That's got nothing to do with Punk. You know what I'm saying? So it got cleared through Tony Khan, the head booker, the head man in charge. So what does that have to do with Punk? This is one of those this is evidence A, B, C, D, E, F, G Track of sabotage, setups, framing Punk and using this incident. And of course, Jack Perry's a hothead. He's young, he's dumb, and all that stuff. So now he gets protected because he's young and dumb, just like Sammy Guevara was protected for being young and dumb with Andrade. And again, I'll say this. Where will Andrade feel? How will Andrade feel with the new Collision? How will Miro feel with the new Collision direction? How will Thunder Rosa feel with the new Collision direction? It's going to be Dynamite 2.0, as it should be. But I
think the setup on Collision is going to remain the same as far as talent that's on there. But who knows? Because what do we see tonight at the end of the show? If you were paying attention,
the Young Bucks make an appearance? Didn't Bryan Danielson
did.
finally make an appearance?
Well.
I'd be surprised that
Hold on.
Moxley will make an appearance and
Wait.
Jericho.
You couldn't say that Daniel Bryan was never going to be on Collision. He broke his arm, so we can't say that he was never going to be on. But we can definitely say, because him and Punk got along, so they boys. But you can definitely say him being on was an audible because of Punk. Him being on tonight, and the match that's happening tomorrow was because of Punk, for sure. Now, here's the thing, and here's why I would have fired Jack Perry as well. You provoked that situation. Now, granted, words doesn't mean you have to convert to fisticuffs, but who the fuck are you to go look into the camera and say that dumb shit that you said? Ooh, real glass. Nigga, really? And now, what if now, first of all,
I would speak to Jack. I would speak to Jack, and I would speak to the producer of that match. Maybe the producer influenced Jack to say, on the camera and say that shit.
I'm going to get to that because, let me, to take a phrase from Jim Cornette, he exposed the business. You look into the camera and say, ooh, real glad. Why the fuck would you say that dumb shit? And not to mention, if I don't follow the dirt sheets on the internet, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. like, say I'm some casual fan. Why did he look at the camera and say that? Okay, I didn't think that the glass was going to be fake. It's a fucking limousine. What the hell was that all about? Now, it doesn't mean that was going to cause some controversy if nothing ever was to say, if no one was to ever do anything. Only amongst the internet marks people would have understood. But it was such a non-necessary thing to say. And you're Jack Perry. You're a no one. You're Luke Perry's son. That's the only reason why you even have a job. That's the only reason why you probably even, that's the only reason why you have a job. You're Luke Perry's son. That's it.
And he's with Anna Jay, so that's double duty right there.
Well, props to him on that. Being Luke Perry's son has its advantages, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure Anna Jay's not with him because he's Luke Perry's son, but who knows? Who the fuck knows? But the bottom line is, where the fuck do you get off saying some shit like that? Why would you say some shit like that? I'll tell you why he said some shit like that. I'll tell you why in a minute. So let me charge up.
Mm-hmm. Toe. Take it ahead.
They set CM Punk's ass up. That shit was a setup. They set this nigga up to be fired, Q. They set that nigga up to be fucking fired. Okay, now, I had said this in the Facebook group, as a joke. This is a joke. Of course, since even though I make jokes, people take them as actually being serious. But I said it as a joke. And of course, if you saw the reaction to the end of Collision tonight, you understood why I started saying, they set this nigga up. Because for the Bucks to show up at the end of that show was fucking crazy. And they came out to make the save for FTR?
Well, I guess to set up the match for All Out because it's the 8-man. So, give it layers. Give it a story.
First off, I'm pretty sure when Cash Wheeler found out CM Punk got fired, he was like, so, I saw the end of that match, and the joke I made, it started to
it amplified your
it did. Even though it was a joke, when I saw that joke started to become a real theory now. Now that's I'm on that shit. I think they set him up, Hugh. I think after that shit happened, the Elite, not even Kenny Omega, I think the Young Bucks and Adam Page said, Jack, come here. This is what we want you to do. You make this fucking guy is such a fucking egomaniac. He's so fucking soft. He's so fucking small. Just make this comment about the real glass, and I bet you he says something to you after the match. Go ahead, just do it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. We got your back. He did it. They knew Punk was going to say something, and Punk is so fucking stupid that he took the bait. He took the
He
bait.
did.
Now, for those who are saying, I don't think he took the bait or whatever, or if you don't think it's a setup, or if you think that Jack Perry was wrong for what he said, I am telling you this. CM Punk chose the right person to fucking walk up and talk shit to, because he thought that he can do that to Teddy Hart, but he found out. You understand?
Dude, your conspiracy is amplified for a multitude of reasons. It started a year ago. And for Punk, first and foremost, Hustleites, this is what I'll say. The only reason that CM Punk was ever in AEW was because the Young Bucks were clout chasing to get CM Punk into their organization, because it was a one-up to Vince McMahon. It was an FU to Vince McMahon. It was an FU to Triple H. It was to prove a point to the Marktards that we could get them into this organization. Now, this is where they fucked up, because you got a guy who's crossover, mainstream abilities, but you didn't want to take a full advantage of it. Then whatever happens behind the scenes is kind of weird, because then we could talk about Adam Page and what he said on a shoot promo on Dynamite, which caught CM Punk off guard. And then that's where it started festering. Then, of course, All Out last year, then the brawl, the locker room. We don't have to get into that. But again, behind the scenes track, this is where people are not really understanding this. What was going on behind the scenes with the lawyers? What was going on behind the scenes with, his interactions? And I'm talking about Punk. Punk's interactions with Tony Khan. What is being said, what is being promised, and all that stuff. Then you fast forward to Collision. Punk's a little bit happy. He's a little bit like, okay, I can deal with what's going on here. I don't have to see the Young Bucks. I don't have to see Adam Page every week. I'm cool with that. Maybe I can see him on a pay-per-view. I'll see him maybe one Dynamite, every 2 months because of where we at and the circumstances. Cool, I'm with that. But something happened behind the scenes, and like you're saying, somebody had to be the fall guy, and they recruited somebody, and that was Jack Perry. And now here we are. This is a frustration thing, because, again, Punk was asked to talk to him. He didn't have to. It's not his job. I'm going to retract. I'm going to retract that, because he has two kind of contracts. He had an employment agreement and he had a different contract. So if he had a booking contract, but again, where was? But
you're telling me he was asked to talk to him?
Yes, he was asked
by
to
who?
talk. Probably Shivani, probably Tony Khan.
Hold on. Because if what you're saying is true,
I'm dead ass. This is not a Mandela effect track. He's asked to talk about this. He's asked.
All right. So if what you're saying is true, I apologize, Jason Miles. You were right, because he said to me that spot was approved at first, and then he said Punk disapproved it. So who the fuck was the one that approved that shit?
Tony Khan. It was Tony.
Why would he approve real glass? But a
lot of the veterans were trying to tell Jack, don't do it. That's the problem. And they asked Punk to do it because, again, I guess, because he's a veteran, the locker room leader, or whatever the case may be. They asked him. He wasn't the first one. I know Shivani was one of the first people to tell Jack that this is not a good idea. That's for damn sure. I don't know if Jim Ross was asked to talk to him. I don't know if maybe Arn Anderson was asked to talk about him, but you get where I'm going with. They asked. CM Punk was not the first choice. It wasn't his job, because it wasn't his program. Why would he even do it? He's just trying to relay a message and give wisdom. The young people don't want to take the wisdom from us old folks, from us people who've been around the way like that.
I just don't first of all, listen. I said this before, and I say it again. If I was an active wrestler, there's certain things that I'm not going to agree to. All right, spitting in my fucking face is one of them. Using my family personal issues in an angle is another, and using real shit like glass. Okay, and as a booker and an owner, my number one rule would be no barefoot wrestlers. That's just my own personal pet peeve. I can't stand that shit. I wish Mike Bailey and fucking Matt Riddle would put on some fucking shoes. I can't, I'm gonna go on a diatribe. I can't, why? Solo, put on some fucking shoes. Stop going out there barefooted.
He's got the sleeves on at least.
I mean, he at least he has that, but his toes are still exposed. You know, Miro had that shit and he still fucked himself up and he said, you know what? Let me put on some fucking boots. Nah, you know, I tell Riddle, you know what? Your style of shit, you know, put on these Chuck Taylors, these low top all-stars. That's your thing. That's what you're gonna do. Speedball Mike Bailey, put on these Ninja Turtle shits.
Doesn't Riddle walk on hot coals or something?
I don't know I don't know. I just hate watching people wrestle barefoot. I hate it when the Von Erichs did it. I hate it when Snooker did it. I hate it when Haku did it. First of all, I never understood I guess I understand now because they were fucking country bumpkins, and I guess that was a part of his style to show that he was some fucking country ass redneck. But up until a few seconds ago, I didn't understand why that nigga fucking wrestled with no fucking shoes on. But I always hated it. But again, I was going on a little diatribe. I digress. Back to the point. Back to the fact of the matter. I just didn't get why you would want to use real glass to make yourself seem like you're tougher than you are. That's what you got fucking thumbtacks for. You don't need to use real glass. But anyway, he did what he did. He said what he said. CM Punk got mad. I'm telling you, they baited this fool. I really believe, after what I saw tonight, it started out as a joke. But then the Bucks came out at the end of the show, and I was just like, these niggas came out at the end of the show in Chicago, and they got quickly fucking booed. They got booed, okay? And I don't know. Listen, I think they were fucking with the audio because there was some CM Punk chants when the show started, and you heard them quickly go away. So I think they were fucking with the audio. But I definitely know, like I'm telling you, bro, tomorrow night is gonna be some fucking shit. It's gonna be some shit. Now, I will say this though. I guess in one way, shape, or form, I gotta look at it in a professional aspect, you know. And in terms of we're in 2023, we're not back in the days anymore. So let me play devil's advocate on Khan's side. You know, you invested so much into this guy. You know, you are an owner and a fan.
He was like $6 million a year they signed him to.
To hear you say $6 million a year, it reminds me of when Bischoff was saying $7.5 million a year, Ted Turner's money to Bret Hart. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember how that shit was a failure? That's what this was. This was WCW Bret Hart. That's exactly what this fucking was. Except Goldberg, nobody kicked this nigga in the head to end his career. They just say some stupid shit.
It is so weird. It is so weird for all this.
I want people to understand something because some jackass. Hold on, I gotta find this comment because it was funny. It was funny when he said this shit. Hold on.
While you find it, I'm just going to say, I mean, the joke that you're saying is actually true because there's too much evidence. And again, there's a lot of stuff backstage. It's festering in CM Punk. And the bait is, I guess, Punk is a hothead. You know, Punk doesn't have, I would say.
Punk's not a hothead. He's a spot chooser. He's a spot chooser. Let me ask you a question.
What I'm saying is this. But he doesn't have his circle. He doesn't have his circle. He doesn't have like Ace Steel. He doesn't have AJ to be there behind, maybe behind the scenes to talk him down and just and keep his eye on the prize. His circle is not there as in comparison to the Elite, Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, Page, Jack Perry. The California connection is real, Track. You got to understand it. Right. Punk has a limited, trust factors. All he's got is really FTR, and probably that's it. Ace Steel is not there, so he can bounce off. He's got to FaceTime him. His wife is not there. He's got to FaceTime her. So again, Larry the Dog is not there because he's banned from.
You got Samoa Joe. You got Miro. You got FTR. He's cool with these people. That's his circle. Okay, and let me ask you this. It's the same thing. Me and Billy Ray used to joke about. We used to watch wrestling with shadows or whatever, and we saw Bret Hart's wife go off in the locker room back there. We were like, imagine if that was New Jack. Could you imagine if CM Punk tried to lay hands on New Jack? Could you imagine if Jack? Do you think if New Jack was calling that and said, no, you're not gonna use real glass. What's wrong with you, boy? You ain't gonna use no, you ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for that. You think he would have said that shit to New Jack?
No.
Hell fucking no. You think
then New Jack would have stabbed him?
Do you think if New Jack do you think if New Jack would have said that shit on camera, Punk would have walked up to New Jack and said, "Do you have a problem with me?" Hell fucking no. If Miro would have said that, if Samoa Joe would have said that, if fucking Bobby Lashley he would have never said that shit to anyone. He knew that Perry couldn't bust a grape in the fruit fight. All right? He knew. And maybe he was feeling himself a little bit after whooping the Young Bucks' asses. Because I'm pretty sure I would have been too. But the bottom line is because of his fragile ego and the fact that he can't control himself and he likes to pick and choose what people he wants to step to, he allowed himself to get goated and got fired. Now maybe that's what he wanted.
Because then he gets compensated with all his money because he didn't quit. If he quit, he couldn't get paid. He got fired.
Well, hold on. Back to this person real quick. To the guy Skinsman who said, "Jesus, the monkey squealing over Tony Khan sounds like a complete retard. This is a typical WWE fan. Pathetic."
What the hell? Wait, where did this comment come from? This is
our page. This is our channel. This is my reaction to Tony Khan publicly firing CM Punk. And of course so I just laughed. I said, typical WWE fan, if your cracker ass knew how ridiculous you sound making that statement. That I don't give a fuck if you called me a monkey. If you call me a goddamn WWE fan, we got a problem.
Yeah,
we got a serious problem.
Yeah, WWE is your trigger word.
what the fuck is this nigga talking about? And a lot of people were mad because they couldn't hear. Now, here's the funny thing. You're mad because you couldn't hear what Tony Khan was saying. Nigga, watch Collision, you fuckface. Don't get mad at me. All right? This is what we do here, nigga. I scream. You listen, you like, you comment, you subscribe, you follow me on Twitter. You follow the professor on Twitter. You follow us on TikTok. Yes, we are on TikTok now. Q, I don't know if you know that, but the PWHustle is now on TikTok. Yeah, we made it. We big time. So, that's what it is. But the bottom line is this. I believe CM Punk was set up. I believe the Elite set him up. I believe Adam Page, the Elite, like I said, I think they called Jack Perry. They set up some shit. They said, listen, you're going to do this spot, right? We want you to say this, and let's see what happens. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. He's gonna put his hands on you, and then we can get his ass out of here. And I think that's what went down. I really do. You can say I'm crazy. You can say what the fuck you want, but I really do think that that's what went down. Now, as far as whose side am I on, I ain't on nobody's side in this. Why should I be on sides?
Before that, there's another conspiracy that we have to talk about that Jim Cornette called Tony Khan bullshit on. Jim Cornette is laughing that Tony Khan feared for his life.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And if Jim Cornette is calling bullshit on that, I think we have to talk about your conspiracy, the setup, the sabotage. Yeah. Now,
from what I understand, he was in the midst of all that, wasn't he? They said that he was there, that he was in the midst of all of that.
Yeah, he was.
Reports. So maybe, listen, when you're on cocaine and a fight happens and shit starts falling on you, it's very possible for you to believe that your life is in danger. You're fucking sniffing lines of cocaine. You don't know what's what. You got niggas fighting in front of you. Shit starts falling on you. Yeah, I believe he really thought his life was in danger.
Then that's some good coke, because of course the Jim Cornette, who's seen it all, who has seen people confront people in locker rooms, he was confronted, or did he confront Santino Morel? I forget which way it went. But Jim Cornette did it.
He slapped that nigga's mouth.
And Jim Cornette is a puny manager, a buck 80, and all that stuff himself. He wasn't afraid.
But again, these are old school guys versus new millennium niggas. Okay.
But again,
who the fuck is gonna be afraid of? I could see somebody being afraid of a Jim Cornette, especially back then, based off the power that he had. So I can see some people not wanting to make certain moves on him. I can see certain people wanting to smack the shit out of Jim Ross, but not doing it, not because they're physically afraid, but they're afraid of what he might do or what he can do to them as far as the business is concerned. So ain't nobody afraid of fucking Tony Khan's ass, physically or what they could do to him business-wise. Let's just go back to the WWE. But I will say, at least...
Wait. Hold on. So Punk gets fired for the threat of Tony Khan. Mind you, Bret Hart actually punches Vince McMahon, and he gets $7.5 million from WCW. He didn't get fired; his contract would just expired.
Well, I mean, that was the work that Vince McMahon and Jim Cornette came up with, because we all know Montgomery. I got the Alabama shit on my mind. The Montreal screw job. We all that shit was at work. So
I'm just saying, that's why Jim Cornette is calling bullshit. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Travis.
Here's what I think, though. I don't think he meant to say I fear for my life. I think he meant to say he feel for. I think he meant to say his safety was in danger. I don't think he meant to say that. Now that's me being fair. I don't think he meant to say that. I think he misspoke on that and probably meant to say his personal safety was in danger. Or even if that's the case. But if he felt his life, then maybe there's truth to what the dirt sheets was saying. That Punk was like in his face and ordering him to come into his fucking dressing room. And if I'm your boss, nah, nigga, who the fuck you talking to? Who the fuck you talking to? But I'm not Tony Khan. I wish I was, because if I'd been Tony Khan, I would have beat the living shit out of CM Punk. I would have beat his ass. And like I said,
first of all,
Tony would have been there.
First of all, Tony Khan, well, you say Big Bill in a joking manner, but Tony Khan can have 3 security guys by his side, and he could talk to anybody. He could go to anybody's locker room with 3 security guards by his side, ninja assassins or whoever the case may be, and just do what he has to do and run it as a boss. He wasn't running AEW as a boss. He was running AEW as a friend and as a marked hard. That's the problem. That's why it was a year festered of emotions and anger and frustrations, and we got from Brawl Out 1 to Brawl Out 2. All it coincide. And mind you, Track, we're talking about this. The wrestling world is talking about this. This is not crossover.
Somebody better check on this nigga. Somebody better check on this nigga, okay?
Which one?
This dude right here, the dude who was crying.
Oh,
Q can't see me. Q can't see this, but you guys can. Someone needs to check on this nigga right here, okay?
Yeah, he's really crying. But again,
really crying now, yo.
But again, people have said Tony Khan wasn't a real leader to put the law down and put the hammer down. He didn't put the hammer down fully on a lot of situations. He suspended the Bucks last year for a couple of weeks. Well, after that, they became trios champions. So really, what was the punishment for them? Nothing really. Sammy Guevara, again, the shit he did with Andrade, whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to take sides here, Track. But again, Sammy Guevara gets a slap on the wrist, then back in the inner circle, back with JAS and doing what he has to do.
Exactly. It wasn't. No. Hold on. I gotta say something here, because this is what when somebody was. This was a while ago when somebody brought up, Sammy Guevara was on the rise, and then they just completely dialed him back. Y'all keep forgetting the man said he wanted to rape Sasha Banks. He said that.
And he got therapy. And he watched the video.
After that came out, that's when you notice the pullback. That's when the Les Sex God. Listen, you can't keep calling yourself Les Sex Gods after Sammy said he wanted to rape somebody. You don't notice that has stopped after that happened? After that controversy happened?
I'm not talking about
dialed back after that.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that incident. I'm talking about the second incident with Andrade and Eddie Kingston and stuff like that. He just got a slap on the wrist.
He didn't start that though.
But it's still an incident. We don't know. Again, Track, it's the same thing like you're saying. If somebody gets goaded,
I forgot exactly what happened. No. If I'm not mistaken, Andrade was talking shit. Then Sammy started talking shit. And then Andrade hit him. Now listen, I ain't listen, we Afro Latinos here. We know the deal. We from the hood. I'm not saying Andrade was wrong. He had every right to smack the shit out that nigga. But he started talking shit first.
It goes in the same thing. Like if I spit on you, Track, but then the tapes didn't see that, but you snuff me, then you get in trouble. Yeah. I get maybe a slap on the wrist. I'm laughing. That's the thing. I got what I wanted. I got you out. That's the thing. It's the same thing. The second person, the reactor, is getting more punished than the instigators. That's the problem. It's not the punishments don't fit the crimes for all parties. That's my problem here. It's not equal.
Well, when the first brawl out happened, it was. Everybody got suspended, even those who I still don't understand how Christopher Daniels and Kenny Omega, when it was clear Omega tried to stop the fight. Daniels was trying to stop the fight. So why the hell was Daniels suspended? I still don't understand that.
Animal abuse. So Peter didn't,
He didn't hit the dog. He didn't do anything.
Like, you don't want Peter on your ass. So that's what you had to, you have to take. That's the thing.
Look. We about to get out of here. But before we get out of here, Q, why don't you just let these guys know what you thought of the Payback pay-per-view, just so we could say that we at least said something about it other than what we said in the beginning.
Dude, Payback was better than All In, and it's already better than All Out. You got 3 matches that are 5.25 stars on the Professor scale. So again, I've given this pay-per-view a good, solid 8.5.
What did you give All Out?
Well,
you gave that shit a 7, and you gave this 8.5.
I gave All In a 7.
You gave All In. Wembley was All Out, not All In. Was it?
Yeah,
no, it was All In.
I gave it a 7.
You gave Wembley a 7. You gave this an 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The matches deliver. All of them deliver.
I gave Wembley a 7.5. I gave this shit the same rate. It was better. It was better than SummerSlam. That's the only thing I could say. And I gave SummerSlam a 6. The main event delivered, like I said. That Rhea Ripley match I could have did without. That cage match to me was the tag match was awesome. LA Knight versus The Miz was not all that. It wasn't. So, that's my grade. It was watchable. Fine. I'll say that. It was watchable. But, going back and forth between that and Collision. The only reason why I thought Collision was better was because of the controversy surrounding CM Punk. And I just was like, a lot of people going to be watching Collision tonight. Watch Collision, double the ratings. Collision going to have 1 million viewers tonight.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think, again.
I'm sure not. That's going to be like 300,000 views.
No. Again, Punk is damaged goods. He's been damaged goods since he even got Collision. And I said this to you, and I'll say this again. Punk was damaged goods because today's fans, you understand what Punk needed to, what Punk was going to be representing, when he went to all these arenas. He was going to be a heel in one state. He was going to be a babyface in another arena and all that stuff. And you have that dimension, which is good booking. It's good storylines. You and I know this. But there are people who take this shit too seriously, and they were, I don't care about Punk. I don't want to watch Punk. They already put the line in the sand. I'm with the Elite. I'm with those guys. Fuck Punk. Now
I had no dog in the race. I wasn't about, I'm on Team Punk or Team Elite. I felt that Elite was being bitches about it, and I think Dave Meltzer played a huge role in a lot of this shit that has gone down. I think the dirt sheets were just terrible when it came to this whole thing. I think the dirt sheets in general, help also, just in general, not just Dave Meltzer. And I'm excluding Sean Ross Sapp, only because Sean Ross Sapp to me was the only trustworthy person in this whole thing. As far as what
I think they were all conspiring together for some.
I mean, at least listen. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to cape for the man. All I'm saying is, from when I was looking at, he seemed to be the most accurate with everything that was going on. So that was just me. But at the end of the day, this situation could have been avoided, if the elite weren't just petty fucking bitch pansy niggas. It could have just been like, all right, let's sit down, let's work together. At the end of the day, you could say I'm a dick rider for Punk. You could say I'm an elite hater. People will say what they want. Again, I have no dog in this race, but I do believe they set that nigga up. I do believe this was all a setup, bro. I just,
And
maybe
Punk,
it's conspiracy in me, the conspiracy theorist in me. Maybe it's because I'm black and from the hood. I'll be on my Hotep shit sometimes. Who the fuck knows? All I know is this shit smells fucking fishy.
it will smell fishier by Survivor Series when Punk versus Roman Reigns happens. The tribal chief will get another victory, but Punk will be there to amplify the tribal chief's reign of terror. He's coming back.
I do believe CM Punk will be back in the WWE. I do believe that.
And he doesn't want to be there, but he will do it just to spite AEW.
Bills got to be paid. Spite AEW is another one. You go to your Puerto Rican wife and tell her you got fired. You can't bring home no money. And you already know that bitch crazy.
Wait. Track. Remember what's going on with Impact Wrestling and they're putting money into the production? Are they putting money for Punk to come?
Yo.
I'm just saying.
I think Punk's days, unless he goes back to WWE, I think Punk's days in wrestling is over. But at this point, what can it hurt? I think if he goes to Impact, they'll just make that nigga the president. He'll have fucking total run of the show. For real. But yo, we gonna get out of here. Q, let them know where they can find you, my brother.
You can find me on the Xer at PWHustle PRF. That's PWHustle Prof. And you can find me on the Hami Media Group at Bobby.com, where I host the most nostalgic podcast out there, the Pro Wrestling Reflection with myself and the Tommy Wonder. Our latest episode track already uploaded it. Check it out. We pay tribute to Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. A nice 2-hour tribute. I said some nice things. TW said some nice things. Our executive producer, Big Ray Hernandez, said some nice things. So check that out, Hustleites.
And of course, like I said, here we are. PW Hustle YouTube, Facebook group, the Hustle Fandom Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, yes, Facebook is still a thing, believe it or not. Join us there. Follow us on TikTok, A-Track Brown, the PW Hustle. Follow me on Twitter, A-Track Brown, the number 8, TRAC Brown. And I will be here for Ahsoka because it's Ahsoka! And that show fucking kicks ass. I will be watching One Piece. Don't worry. I have to go to the hospital tomorrow because my hip is fucking killing me. If Q is up tomorrow, then after All Out, All In, whatever the fuck it is, if he's up for the pay-per-view, we'll review that too, all right? So we'll see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button, all right? Peace.